Hi, my name is Adrielle Smith, and I'm going to give you some insight of my journey and what I learned in curriculum and design for childhood education, as well as some tips and tricks to help you become a better thinker. This course is designed to help you develop thinking habits that can be beneficial throughout your life. When I started this class, I was very excited. I was excited to learn about childhood education. I'm a kindergarten teacher and I love teaching younger students. I was excited because I thought I was going to learn about tips and tricks to teach better lessons. When I started to look at the material for this class, I realized that this is nothing like what I had in mind. When I met with my group, we immediately were confused about what the group assignment's purpose was. As we got through the course, we realized that the purpose was to work together, think as a team, think out of the box, and be creative. The first thing that we learned about were our habits of mind. Habits of mind help you create connections and have empathy for something you are trying to learn. In almost everything you do in life, you try to relate it to another thing that's meaningful to you or something you learned about. Using your habits of mind daily will help you have a better outlook of life. In this course, you are going to have a group project. For the group project, you are going to have to pick a challenge that is relevant in today's society and what can you do to accomplish the goal of making this challenge better. I recommend that every week your group members get on a Zoom call or a WhatsApp call and discuss each assignment weekly. When you are working with a group, you have to be open and communicate with one another. This helps you build connections and collaborate with one another. For our project, we all agreed on talking about gender inequality because we're all women of the working class and we felt that we can work together to create a project that helped combat gender inequality. After we picked our challenge, we had to put our ideas through a design thinking process. The design thinking process has several stages: empathy, ideate, prototype, and iterate. These stages can be followed to produce high quality content of an idea that your group wants to pitch. The first stage is the empathy stage. When my group was creating a project to help combat gender inequality, we used a TED Talk presentation to create empathy among our viewers. This gave our viewers something to connect to, as well as learn about what gender inequality is through a story. This hooked our viewers' attention because it was engaging. It's important to be empathetic. When you are creating content, you want to have a story that people are able to connect to. Many people are more engaged when they can relate to an idea. Remember, this is the stage that you want to hook and introduce what you are teaching to your learners. The next stage is the ideate stage. When my group members and I were thinking of ideas, we used a Jamboard that helped us collaborate all of our ideas onto one platform. This helped us see where everyone was producing similar ideas or what things worked better than others. We were able to express our ideas freely and work together. The ideate stage is the brainstorming stage. During your ideate stage, you want to let your imagination run wild with ideas. You don't want to be shy when you're giving your thoughts. The more ideas, the better. There is no limitations in the ideate phase. No ideas are bad ideas. You want to make connections with your group members' ideas and see where all of you guys have a common interest. After we collaborated our ideas, we had to establish thinking routines. We had to ask ourselves, what do we want to show our viewers? How are we going to present our ideas and our views, as well as how are we going to make our ideas come to life? Throughout a learning experience, every individual should try to use a thinking routine. Thinking routines help learners think, see, wonder about an idea or a topic, and make a connection to it. When you are thinking, you want to make your ideas visible to see a common interest in ideas among other group members. For example, if you're trying to teach your students about how to combat climate change, you want to ask your students the 3 whys. Why might the goal matter? Why might the goal matter to the people around me? And why might the goal matter to people around the world? These 3 questions allow learners to establish thinking routines and get their brains flowing with ideas. The next stage is the prototype stage. Our group was able to see what ideas worked and which ones did not. We were able to make changes and give each other feedback without being too attached to our own ideas. We ended up producing a comic strip that spoke about gender inequality, as well as a flyer and a website that was open to viewers who were interested in joining the Women's Empowerment Club. Prototyping invites others to experience something that exists only in your brain. Prototyping allows you to make your ideas tangible. This allows for feedback and concerns that might appear later on within a project. Prototyping is like a rough draft of creating a project. During your prototyping phase, you must be open to constructive criticism. Prototyping is a learning and collaborative process. Always remember that working together and failing to learn is always how the best inventions were created. Lastly, we move on to the iterate stage. In this stage, we put all of the other stages onto one platform as well as our pitch. The iterate stage is the last stage when giving your proposal for a project. During this stage, you want to tie the empathy, ideate, and prototype stage together onto one platform. During your iterate stage, you must be creative when presenting your pitch. During this stage, ideas presented on a storyboard, comic strip, poster, etc. will help viewers visualize and be engaged in your ideas you're presenting. Don't be afraid to add audio and music to keep your viewers interested in your pitch. After the last stage, you must tell a story. I was able to tell my story by explaining a truthful process of what I learned in this course. When you are storytelling, you must have a targeted audience that you want to use to get your message across. For instance, this story I just told can be beneficial to college students in early childhood education, people who are education majors, and people interested in collaborating for a project. Storytelling is telling an experience in a meaningful way. When you are storytelling, you want to engage your audience with a hook or a story that they can have empathy for. When you engage your audience, you can get your message across in a memorable way. When telling a story, it's important to keep a few key factors in mind. Be truthful, be engaging, and lastly, have passion. Thank you so much. Hi, my name is Adrielle Smith, and I'm going to give you some insight of my journey and what I learned in curriculum and design for childhood education, as well as some tips and tricks to help you become a better thinker. This course is designed to help you develop thinking habits that can be beneficial throughout your life. When I started this class, I was very excited. I was excited to learn about childhood education. I'm a kindergarten teacher, and I love teaching younger students. I was excited because I thought I was going to learn about tips and tricks to teach better lessons. When I started to look at the material for this class,